things about the Peach matchup.
Okay,
Whenever you're ready.
we are going. We're recording, brother.
All right. Okay. Some thoughts about the Peach matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Funny enough, it's a vertical game again.
What do you mean by vertical game?
So I never really had to fight many Peaches that just kind of floats up there.
What do
And then when
you
they
so
do,
like?
I kind of struggle. Like, kind of like right outside, like, or even like barely within full out fair range. Or like
Mm,
they just like stick on the side or top platform for a little while. And like, what do I do against this? I think you saw me struggle a little bit about against
oh,
this
yeah.
against Blue Clues. So um, Polish kind of employed similar strategies, and I'd say I dealt with it pretty poorly.
Now let me make sure I understand what you're saying. You're concerned about. It sounds like you are concerned. Um, not with from what it sounds like. Like, is it a neutral thing, or is it primarily you've hit Peach and then Peach is hanging out?
Both. Sometimes Peach kind of just defaults to just being up there, and I kind of don't know what to do about it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's so yeah. I mean, I think this is a common Peach strategy. They like hanging out there. They like grinding you out. Something Armada like doing a lot to a lot of players. It's something like Puff and Peach are uniquely skilled at doing to people. So I think learning to play Peach here, I think will help your juggling in a lot of matchups, and I also think it'll make you better versus Puff too.
Yeah, funny thing about Puff is that I always feel safer against Puff because when I dash back, I know I for sure I cannot get hit here if I have center. And then like I have this like zone area where like if she's like too far within this range, like I could swat her my full off fair. Or if he doesn't if she doesn't violate this area, then at least she's cornered. And I don't know, I could like track her a little bit better. Whereas like Peach has stuff like air dodge and her hitboxes are better. And I don't know, I get a little bit more. Even though on paper it should be easier. For some
Yeah.
reason I struggle more with Peach.
Um, yeah, that is a little unusual. I think it's probably the options you're picking out of it, and you probably don't know some of the ranges super well. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like there's not even like it sounds like you don't care about really anything. But when Peach is high in the air, we can talk about like some possible ways to set that up. I think it varies some by stage. We can talk about some of that, or we can kind of just go into the match, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, and then like I guess there's like some neutral stuff that well it. I mean, he does hit me here and there, but
It's not your priority.
it's not the bigger priority is like how do I really make Peach feel bad, even
Yeah,
though when she's up there. And another thing, I guess, is that like I've always struggled with a Peach that pulls a turnip and then like throws it in the air, like she like
what do you
full hop
mean?
throws
Oh,
turnips.
full hop and throws it forward.
Yeah, I'm really good at dealing with turnips if she's like stays in the ground,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Yeah,
get significantly worse when she throws it in a vertical playing field.
yeah. That is much stronger for Peach. It's how she's able to approach.
Right, and I feel like I got hit by that almost all the time in my set versus Polish.
Okay, so that's a lot easier to talk about. What did you do? What did you do first of all to try and beat it?
Well, I would like try to just beat the horizontal options. Like sometimes nair through it, sometimes shield, and then way dash in, or like sometimes just run up dash attack. And it's either he would be a little bit too far away in a range, or he would like already jump.
What happens if you nared it?
If I naired it, it just it would just dodge. It would not hit him.
Would the would the
Like it would hit
nair
the
hit?
turnip, but it would not hit Peach, and then I would get hit back.
Now, why wouldn't it hit Peach?
Because she's already in the air above the horizontal plane.
Probably. Um, and I think that also means, right, that the peach sees you coming towards her and maybe pulls back a little bit, doesn't follow the turnip so much.
Yeah,
Or you could be late on when you hit the turnip if she is still following it, right?
yeah. And I've never really known like a good answer against that. Like, I guess maybe I could fair and place, but
Yeah.
it doesn't. I feel like there's many ways to manipulate that as the peach. And like I know it's supposed to be a disadvantage from Marth at that point, but I feel like the amount of times I get hit there is like disproportional of like how often I really should be getting hit.
Okay, so what are some other things you can do there? Like if you fair the turnip, what are you saying that the peach can just do to play around that?
Um, just like wait out my fare and then throw it.
Yeah, but then you don't have to fair.
Yeah, I suppose so. Uh,
I mean, you have to remember, Peach with a turnip does not have access to dash attack.
yeah,
I'm giving you a moment to think about it.
I just never feel comfortable using that tool.
Okay. Um, if you cannot come up with an answer why it's a problem, though, it sounds like it's at least worth looking at.
Like I feel like it just only makes the disadvantage position only slightly less disadvantage. I guess that's like the main reason why I don't like it.
Well, what can Peach? I mean, so you're disadvantaged, but like if Peach is too close, you hit her. Like if you would forward air, if she's too close, you would hit both the turnip and her. And so she has to throw it from a distance. And then their turnip throw has some lag. And then she can't throw it while she's floating. So she has to rise and throw it. And so she can only. And so again, she can't throw it while she's floating. So you can. And then the turnip goes in a particular arc when she does jump and throw it. So I'm kind of curious with all of these factors how how first of all the timing seems, I don't know if you feel like you can't figure out the timing based on these things, or even if you're like, okay, I can know exactly when she throws it and I'll still just lose. I don't. You have not explained how Peach can take advantage of the time after throwing the turnip to punish Marth. Like even if the answer is Peach gets closer to Marth, I don't think that's necessarily bad, right? Because you could just like space down tilt or something.
Oh yeah, well, uh, I guess like another part I don't like about it is that like then her horizontal turnip mix-ups become a lot stronger from fair and place. Like she goes just pull another turnip.
So now what you're saying is um, if the peach does the full up turnip, you fair it, the peach has to land and pull another one.
Or just default to not even jumping.
Okay, so that's interesting. So if the peach, okay, I see what's going on here.
Because I hate getting turnip canned by Peach, and that's why I even created my horizontal mix-ups in the first place. And then that's why like the vertical mix-ups gets me probably more often than it should.
Um, okay, so so you want to deal with this turnip thing. Okay, so it sounds to me like, do you feel Peach's turnip throw in the air is reactable at the distance she's at?
I guess if she's further away, it could be.
If she's
Mm,
closer, is it possible for you to hit her as she's throwing?
possibly. I never thought of it that way. It could be possible.
I
Um,
would recommend. looking at that.
Yeah, yeah. And then, cause like I know I could, cause like I do like you defaulting the shield against like the grounded turnips.
Okay.
So then like I could like catch a turnip and Z drop it. So then at least it's like uh, I'm not heavily disadvantaged.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then like way dash in sometimes if she regrabs another turnip. But if she's closer, then I could just like fair in place if she jumps.
Well, you know what you could do, Kodorin? You could play Peach against Marth and then try it and then see what other Marths do. And if it just works all the time, then maybe it's unbeatable, but maybe other Marths will have answers to it. You never know.
Yeah, that would be good to try. If I barely played Peach myself, so it would be pretty bad. But I could try it
All you, as long as you're able to press down B and then throw the turnip or jump and throw it, that's all you really need.
for sure. For sure, I certainly could try that sometime. But uh, what you suggested based on distance, I could work with that at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
But the turnip stuff, yeah, that is very annoying. But I do feel like the vertical plays is a lot more apparent.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm down unless you want to talk about what we could be doing about that. We could just get into it and look at specifics. It's whatever you want to do here.
Sure, I mean it literally happens in like the first second, like the first 2 seconds. Like I just for some like I pressure the landing under here because a lot of peaches deal with that poorly, and then he does this. I'm like, oh okay, well shit. uh,
Hold on, I was oh, you're where the heck? Where does this start? Oh.
so it's at 5 minutes
Oh my goodness.
because he's been icing me out all tourney.
As planned, huh?
Yeah,
All right. So he gets on a
yeah. No
platform.
peaches has done that to me up until that point. I was like, oh, I guess I can't do that.
So wait, what was your problem? He just spawned on a platform and you're like, I don't
Yeah,
like this.
I misremembered, but there was definitely another game where like a lot of Peach they like dropping through platform and then throwing turnip or something, or they start off an aerial, and then that happened. Another game, he just like short hop off and then like threw down the turnip,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, oh,
Well, even if he
oops,
short hopped off the platform, was this Nair hitting that? You can
no,
go, and you can go back and look at your Nair again. It's our old friend. You remember when we talked about this Nair? Yeah, that's okay. Me neither. Anyway, let's go ahead and so you can go ahead and figure out. Do you want to talk about how to beat
not
Peach holding
not
turnip on shield on
well,
platform, or you just want to look at the other stuff?
space affair, right?
That would be good. However, if you do an early fair, can Peach turnip that?
Yes, so maybe at least do a late fair so I can
Mid
fastball
might be
dash.
okay. Might depend on stage.
So later fair dash.
Yeah, it just really depends. I mean, Peach doesn't fall that fast after all.
Okay, so like later fair up tilt,
I
just
don't
like for
know.
pressure.
If you're close enough, sure. Um, if Peach, if you space it really well, Peach could even shield DI away and then shield drop and throw the turnip. So I don't know how that really plays out. You'd have to look at some of those things. But yeah, I mean, I don't think a lot of Peaches are going to think about that, admittedly. So you're probably fine just to space, but you have to make sure that yeah, you're more frame tight when you do it.
Okay. Also, do you think I should be? I also, if you just want to point out, I don't know how I should be feeling when I get hit. Like I don't know if I get hit harder than I should. Just out of curiosity. Like I know
Um,
for the edge guards, I know my flow chart there, but like when I just get hit straight up, like I don't know if I'm dealing with that like well or not.
um, well, it's kind of weird because I don't really think Peach should combo Marth that hard. But it also depends on the way Peach gets to hit, right? Like if she gets a down smash at like mid percent, sometimes that leads to something. If she gets a dash attack, sometimes it's going to lead to more. If she's got you cornered by the edge and she hits like a low FC nair, could lead to more or back air. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some things that could be pointed out here. I mean, like, I'm not really sure what you want to focus on here. Do you want to talk about when you got hit
I want to talk
there?
about the vertical game, but
All
if you
right.
find that like I get hit way harder than you think I should be, like I'm taking 30 unnecessary percents, feel free to point that out.
I am going to be wanting to have you direct more of this, as you know. So I'm
Yeah,
probably not going to harp on that. If you
sure,
feel
sure,
like if
sure.
you have a question about something, I'll answer it. But I feel like since you wanted to talk more about vertical, I'd rather spend time on that.
Also, there's this minor question I have about like playing the ground game
Uh huh.
because like Marth beats Peach ground and air to air,
Uh huh.
ground to ground, air to air, but like I try to, I don't react to. I feel like I played too reactionary in this matchup. It feels like because I saw the first fair and then I then fared and then he countered my my too reactionary play style.
Mm-hmm. Um. So let's look at kind of a little bit of that again. So he rolls, he turns. Oh my god, what happened? I clicked the rewind button or whatever. But anyway, he jabs, he dashes in, wave dashes back. He comes in, he crouches. He does a low FC nair. He dashes back. He does another low FC nair. Now, do you think if you're looking for dash attack and going back and pulling a turnip that you can easily react to a low immediate FC nair?
That is a fair point. So I should like default in saying a certain range, always being, you know, always looking out for the turnip pull or like at least a dash attack. And if he does something else, like I could at least react to that.
Yeah, and that I mean, so doing the low FC aerial is Peach's kind of way of like taking some stage while still having some control because like they don't want to just dash attack or just pull turnips. So you got to remember that this is something that I think is going to be more common in the matchup as Peach is doing this kind of thing. Um, and so I'm not going to talk to you. I mean, unless you want to talk about how to beat it, I'm just going to tell you that this is something that you're going to need to pay attention to because it's not just Polish that'll be doing it. They all do it in various forms. Some do it with back air more, some do it with nair more. But yeah, you need to be aware of that.
Right. Should I be punishing this with a fair or a pivot grab?
Which one? Well, okay, so let me ask you this: which one's quicker?
A pivot grab.
Which one beats the nair more cleanly?
Fair.
Okay,
If it's based.
so it is a pros and cons situation. If you I mean, well, I'll ask you. So, based on this, what are some things you could do? Like, how can you maximize the advantages of one while minimizing your disadvantages?
Well, being outside of dash attack range does uh, help.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm sitting at that range, then I should probably pivot grab. But if I happen to be a little closer and he does that, you know,
Well, hold on. Look at this FC Nair. Look at how far you are. So, I didn't get this thing doesn't always pause right, but you were actually like at the tip of dash attack range, and he does this. I don't know how you're pivot grabbing that. You know what I mean?
yeah. So yeah, that is a position that does confuse me, I guess. It feels like the best thing I could do at that point is shielding in case he dash attacks, and then I guess I have to just eat the disadvantage you were to low cancel nair,
Hmm.
or I guess maybe go to platform.
What about fair?
Fair. I mean, I just tried to fair. I guess I should have fared a little later.
Well, let's look at the exact fair you did. So you dashed away some. His move is done, but he dashed away. You actually came in right as he came in. Let's look at it again. So you did a rising fair, but your starting position. Let's see if I can actually get this right. So you're dashing back. He's coming down with that first one.
Hmm.
Now you're coming in. I think this is actually when you decide to come in. So you decide to come in at right after he lands with his first one, and you are in jump squad or you're starting to go right as he's dashing back.
Yeah.
And so what do you think that means to you? Do you think so? First of all, do you think Rising Fair can beat Peach's Float Cancel Nair?
Well, it can.
Okay,
He just needs to run at me.
right, right. He just needs to be doing it when you're doing it, right?
But
So think about your timing here. I want you to really think about this. So he does a FC Nair close to you, and your solution and what you did in response to him doing an FC Nair close to you was to do a Rising Fair. That means you saw him do it. This is very important, I think, for
it seemed like he
understanding.
would do it again, which he
So he
did,
does
but
it.
not time.
He does it right. He does that first one right there. You see that he does that one. You dash back because you don't want to get hit by it. But yeah, like you're saying, you expect him to do another one immediately. Now, how often do you see a Peach do an FC aerial into another immediate
Nah,
one in place?
only the brain dead ones.
Okay, so what can we learn from this?
That I should not assume that they would go my way, because
Well,
that's not a problem just isolated to Peach. Like I do this a lot against Fox as well. I need to look out for overall patterns.
I mean this is also kind of a meta trend too, right? Because like let's suppose you are expecting them to do a dash back or some type of weight into another FC, then if they do a double FC in place, then they just hit you, right?
Yeah,
So it you're playing on a meta trend here, and so you got to keep that in mind. But regardless, you can also think about why it's a meta trend. Are peaches often getting punished for doing that first one in place and then staying there? You can think about that. I mean, is it like and that doesn't have to be a conversation we have to have now. We can if you want, but why the peach is doing that, and then if you're what would they like? You can imagine this peach does this first. Like I mean, you can do this if you want. You can say, okay, I did this nair right here, and I'm not sure what the Marth is gonna do because I see I didn't hit. You could just say, well, what would you do as peach if you're right here? What would you do?
yeah. I could dash back. I could uh,
Sure.
do immediate dash attack. I could
Yeah.
pull another turnip right in front of his face.
You
I
would
could
pull a
pull
turnip
off.
in front of Mart's face.
Yeah, maybe.
How often does that work out for the peaches that play against you pulling a turnip in your face?
It would work well if they wait too much and they're not reacting, which I've done that plenty myself.
Okay, so if the Mar so okay, if the Marth player is mind crushed, you can pull turnips in his face. Noted. But would you say it's a reliable strategy for Peach here?
No,
Okay, so we have dash back, we have dash attack. Now, isn't that an interesting pair? I mean, is there anything else that you want to point out here that Peach could do?
yeah, she could like just uh, flow cancel aerial again.
Yep, that's what we talked about. So, I mean, think about
She could
that,
like
right?
full up as well, and then like kind of be at that uncomfortable range.
Sure, sure. Um, so that's really interesting, right? From this position, now, right? First of all, think about this. Where are you relative to Peach's dash attack?
I'm, uh, I'm not exactly at pivot grab range against flow cancel aerial because
Mm-hmm.
more seasoned Peach mains wouldn't just throw out a dash attack here when they have like such a center position. They will only do this to call me out. And I'm at like 53 too, so it's not like they would give them that much either.
Okay, well that's fair. So you would not expect Peach players to dash attack here.
Well, if I was thinking more rationally, the expected value off of their dash attack is not very high here.
Do Peach players always think about that?
No.
Okay, keep that in mind. So
but
this is
I think
some
Polish would.
okay. That's important. So so then all right. So look for kind of what Polish is. So that's important then. Um, and you also want to know if Polish does start dash attacking here. You'd want to think about why. So great. So the Polish is so that means if Polish is not dash attacking, is Polish often doing double float cancel aerial in place?
Possibly.
Okay, so that needs to be determined. Is Polish doing float cancel aerial, the low one, into the full hop float forward?
It could be possible.
Is it something Polish does often?
Yeah, I haven't played him too often, but it's more likely than him just ramming at me with a dash attack here.
Okay, well, it sounds like. And how often does he dash back?
It feels like he would do it, uh, especially in response to like bait out things. So I'd say often.
Okay, so I want you to think about your answers to this. So if we're thinking of dash attack very rarely here, and otherwise controlling space or kind of waiting, what can we do as Marth about this?
I could afford to swing a little later since he's waiting himself.
And where can you be spaced?
More inside dash attack range.
Okay, there
You
you
know,
go.
I should still like not play with fire too much, but like at least like the weak hit of dash attack would be fine.
Yeah, you can also hold down and grab that.
Yeah, and then
Um,
that in turn that means like I could like short hop fair a little bit more often.
right. Now, short hop forward air, not necessarily your greatest option versus Peach dash back, but a lot
Yeah, but
better
then
than rising
yeah,
fair into him.
yeah, and like I don't have to like fair if I see him dash back. I could just close the space.
Hmm.
Okay, all right,
And yeah, so you feel good about that?
that feels better to think about. Yeah,
Okay, cool. So we can talk about this more or we can move on. Oh my.
yeah. I didn't expect him to just DI in, and then
Yeah, it
that
is
kind of hit me
weird.
in that.
That surprises me sometimes too.
I don't know what to do about this.
All right, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. What do we do? What do we do? He jumped on a platform and then he yeeted at you. How?
Yes, that yeet I hate a lot.
Let me look at this again. I'm gonna pause it. So he full hop. He does the full hop, double jump land or whatever the heck it is. I'm not a Peach player. I'm not a nerd. And then
He has like that weird peach technology.
yeah, uh, alien float. And then he comes in and he floats with a forward air. So this is kind of. I mean, so I look at Peach. Where I look at Peach here, and I look at where you are here. Actually, it's very interesting. And
Oh my!
and I also think about
Wait, did you just restart to the start of the match?
I did,
Okay.
and I think about this right here. Now, obviously, a turnip's involved, but I mean, think about. I mean, this was something that also concerned you quite a bit. I think it's quite interesting. Um, so let's go back. So Peach on the platform. Now, you're moving in as Peach is in lag here. I don't think you can actually get her before her shield comes out, but I don't even think he shielded, honestly. uh, which is funny. But yeah, I mean, what so do you want to talk about what to do just here or do you want to talk about how to beat that fair? Like what is the part of
Okay.
this that gives you a hard time?
When I think of this position, I think okay. For whatever reason, I just have to full hop fair. You know,
Okay, okay.
just in case that you know she jumps to the top platform, she like decides to float here, she decides to move in. I just for some reason my mind is defaulting, seeing this position being all like I have to full out fair here to like if she runs through it, great. If she doesn't get hit by it, well at least I take position.
Okay.
Or when it happens in the moment, I don't know what the fuck to do about this position and just like get hit by fair.
Okay. Well, you thought about it and did not full hop fair.
Yeah,
So, so, so what are you thinking about here?
I'm thinking how this is a really weird position, and I just want him to land.
You just want him to get back on the ground so you can play the game like a cultured human being.
Yes.
Okay, great. Um,
Don't laugh at me.
it's funny. I'm not laughing at you. It's more of just a fun moment. Um, so I mean, let's look at it. Yeah, full hop fair would have hit him. They might have held down and punished you. I guess if you retreated well, you might have still
Yeah,
just
like
hit him.
I'm thinking like a vertical full off fair here.
Yeah, if you retreat it well, maybe you get him. Yeah, it doesn't even shield. You're running forward. He just doesn't respect that threat at all. Or maybe he's just holding down. I don't know. Um, yeah, so I mean, is the solution just full hop fair here? Do you feel happy with that?
No,
Why not?
because what if they just stay there
Well, then you
or
would
like dash back here, and then like they start to pull a turnip?
well, you're in the air with your forward air out. You could just like land with a forward air or something. You could, I mean, depending on how you do it, right? Like, let's imagine, it's time to draw, brother. All right, so let's imagine, so the peach stays here,
Yeah,
and then you do, what type of, you trying to go straight up with your fair? Are you trying to go into
yeah,
peach? What do you, oh,
like
heck
this.
yeah, dude, we're drawing together, bro. This is so beautiful. Um, so you're trying to go back a little bit.
Yeah,
So if the peach then goes this way, right? Pulls a turnip. That's a turnip. Um, and you're like, no, I don't like that. Now you're back here somewhere while Peach
yeah.
did this. Turnip pull. Do you know turnip pull takes like it's like 30 or 40 frames or something? It's so long. Pull a turnip. Um, so Peach will not really have much time to move after she pulls it. You should play Peach and just pull a turnip and then see how like an eternity it feels like while you're playing Peach. Um,
Okay.
so you're back here. Peach pulls the turnip. Peach can move before you go at her. It's true, but I mean, what can Peach really do that's a problem here? She can't dash attack. She can't like even take a close fair and down smash. She can't down tilt. She could like shield drop, but then like you're above the platform, so it's like the turnip can't go this way, right? It can't do that. So what what is the problem with Peach moving back and pulling a turnip here?
Well, I think like she could like dash back more and then like float with be it that like annoying float height where she has a turnip on hand, and then at the
Oh, you're
launch she
saying
can dash.
she just goes even farther back, like off the platform,
Yeah,
and then she floats, and then she has it.
or even jump back from there.
Okay, well if she's jumping, I mean by that point, I mean you're gonna probably like land or something, right?
Okay.
So now you're like on the platform. Peach is like out here somewhere. This drawing got really confusing. Um, I've never drawn this much before. So I mean, is that bad? Is that position? Do you feel like that position is not one you want to play with you on the platform and Peach out there with the turnip? I guess that's one of the ones
So
you don't like, but
yeah, and I also don't like being above Peach as well. Like if she were to shield drop
uh huh.
and I'm still above her on the side platform, she's now grounded with a turn up no less.
Okay, well, if you do realize if you full hop fair and Peach, you know, doesn't jump into it, that you will be above Peach.
Yes. That's also part of the reason why I don't feel very satisfied with that answer.
Okay. Well, um, do you remember when we talked about that position at the very beginning of the match?
Yeah.
We didn't talk about full hop fair, did we?
No. Yeah.
So what did we talk about?
We talked about just simply spacing a fair or like doing a later fair and then
And which kind of fair? Let's be specific.
like a mid late fair.
Okay. And are you doing this fair out of full hop?
No, I'm doing a rising fair.
Out of what? What is the movement option you do?
A drift back or like
What
a
type
dash in
what type of jump do you do?
a full hop.
Oh, interesting. It's good that I asked you this question. Oh, so you were saying that's good that I asked you this. So you're saying all the way back here. How do I get this nonsense off the screen? Get out of here. So you're saying all the way back here that if Peach does this, you want a full hop.
That is my first instinct, and I kind of don't like that answer.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. So, yeah, that would lead to the same problem that you were talking about, right? Now she actually has the turnip and you full hop. So she could like full hop herself out of shield and throw the turnip at you. Or if you're going to do a mid one, then she can shield, see you're not doing it. You're going to like float up here above her. And she'll be like, I don't want to deal with that. And so she just shield drops, maybe drifts in like this way and throws it up at you, right? And then she's below, and then she's definitely below you and could like up air and nair and all that stuff that's not fun to deal with, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can also just double jump to the platform, but you know. Um, so so let's not talk about her with the turnip there. That's going to make it harder. Oh my, that's not a good situation for you. Let's not talk about that.
Mm.
Um, let's go back. So we're here. Um, what do you want to do to Peach on a platform? Yeah, okay, so you can full hop fair. You're not crazy about it, but you could do it. What else? What else can you do?
I could do like a sharp in this position and then like do a mid late fair.
Okay. How do you feel about that?
Um, I could do that. If they stay in place, it's pretty good. But then, uh, she could like I guess just like short hop from here, and then that gets confusing to me when she like floats at that spot, or like even full off from the spot.
And she did do that after all.
Yeah. So
So let's be clear. Um, you're so let's take it one level at a time. So level one, you're okay with short hop fair here
yes, but it
because
doesn't solve the like the full hop problem
fair enough,
or the
and you
or the
like
short hop
full
problem.
hop fair because it solves her full hop problem.
Yes. Yeah.
But if you're wrong with full hop fair, you can see how it can be an issue. But if you're wrong with short hop fair, it seems like you're not entirely sure.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to the weird vertical plays that I'm not sure how to address.
Mm-hmm. So, what type of short hop fair do you want to do against Peach here?
Mid, like short hop, mid, late fair.
Okay. So that gives you a little bit of time after you jump to see what she's doing, right?
Yeah.
So let's imagine you do that. Like from this position you're in, you start to jump and you drift forward like a slight bit. Come on, video. And, well, I didn't do it right because the thing buffered like a doofus. But, so all this time you're like skidding, by the way. So Peach, you in the time you're doing this, you see Peach jump and start up a forward air like a maniac. You're running into her and she's forward airing the middle
And
of the
I feel
stage.
like the drift, like the falling fair will not hit her, but like maybe I guess like a double jump fair.
Well, I mean, so if you're, yeah, this is a very important discussion. I realize now. I think you will learn something good from this. So yeah, like right here, like you start to jump from right here, right? So remember, Peach starts the forward air like here and is
Yeah.
going down this way, right?
Yeah.
So you start the jump and you drift forward, you're going to be like here, right? It's going to be hard to hit you with forward air, right? That's the first thing. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Second thing, you confirm Peach's jumping because you're trying to get set up anyway for your forward air. Do you have to still forward air? Like
No.
she goes forward, right? So she just goes
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah, which is why I said like maybe I could double jump back fair or like just
Well,
falling up there.
there you go. What about falling up air, right? Because up air hits an arc like this, right? So you could get like the back hit or
Yeah.
something, and that's combo. If you get like a forward air at 26% off of a double jump, are you converting off of that? Especially because that's probably not going to be tippered.
Yeah. Well, probably also because it's all of a double jump, so I can't
Yeah,
really.
right. If you tipper it, it's a little different, but yeah, it's tough. So, um, so what is something important? Because I really think there's something you can kind of get from this that's a little more general. What is something important about what I just said? Like, what what can you use to play this position a little more confidently?
A reaction window
Yes.
off
And
of confirming.
how do you create those? Like, what is something automatic that you're doing that can create that?
Well, I'm just gonna list the steps here. I could shore hop in and then see what they do, and then
Right.
just do stuff based on their positioning.
Right. And I'm kind of asking, like, we've talked a little bit about how to do this in other ways. And so I'm trying to encourage you to think about not just solving this one position in this one way, but trying to apply it to something bigger. So, and you could use this type of like, I mean, I imagine that you use this type of short up tactic against like Fox sometimes, right? When you're zoning.
Yeah.
Now, how are you able to do that when you're playing against Fox? What is it about? What do you do that helps you do that?
So you're talking about the platform positions, right? Or
Not necessarily. Just when you're
oh, well,
trying to
I just confirm their position and then I do it
right and are you confirming their position while doing nothing?
while doing nothing.
Yeah, so you're making no inputs while you're confirming their position. I'm
Sort
asking
of.
you. I'm asking you. Are you making no
Sort of.
inputs?
I mean, I'm drifting at a spot. I'm assessing like, is this the best time to do this now? And that depends.
Right. So is there anything comparable to that? Huh. Yeah. This is not the time for this discussion. Maybe it's not.
Yeah, I'm not really sure where you're kind of going with
That's
this.
fair. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. We don't have to force this. So do you feel? How do you feel about this position?
Well, I'm a little confused on like what the theme should be, but I'm thinking like there should be like a
If you
reaction window.
if you feel like you can do the short hop here, I mean, think about it. What are Peach's options?
Uh, she could try to like go in or like be at that annoying full hop height
She can. So you're saying
or be that flow height.
she could jump here, right?
Yeah,
Um, if she jumps, is she going to jump forward or backward or in place?
depends.
Okay. So do you think? I mean, how intimidating to you is her jumping backward?
Oh, it's not intimidating, but I do know I need to deal with it.
Sure. But how immediately pressing is her jumping backward?
Not immediate.
Okay. Do you think it'd be more fair to prioritize the other two then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm also like prioritizing just like not letting her pull a turn up here as well. So that's
Sure.
why I'm close in the first place.
Right. And I think closing in space here is a great call. Partly because of that. Um, and so you're moving in and you are able to react when you are in the air to what she's doing. And it's good because you're also setting up for if she stays in place and she shields or she pulls a turnip, you can just react out of that instead. And if she And if she does jump, then you either double jump or you up air or you land and then you reset and you do something else. And so you confirm her position instead of just kind of hoping or just kind of waiting. So that seems better, right?
Yeah.
Now, your concern is I don't know all of the things that she could want to do or all the timing she could play at if she does a float up or she floats backward or all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, what did Polish do here?
Well, he just rammed at me, and I wasn't expecting that, but I could stuff that out in the future.
Right. So, if you're a peach, are you always going to wait?
Well, not always, always, but I mean, depends on the peach, I guess.
All right, hold on. Where is it? It's the thing we talked about before. Is he waiting there?
Yeah.
Is he waiting there? Or is he just doing the float aerial immediately?
Well, he waited there and then punished me with that nair.
Out of float,
Yeah,
though.
I'll float.
He was immediate, right?
Yeah. I mean, he did hit me. Yeah.
My point is is your concern that Peach stands around before doing something, or is your concern Peach floats for a while before doing something?
She floats around while doing something. This is a totally different position. This is like a
Okay,
horizontal one. I'm
sure.
talking more about the vertical place.
Right. And so we can instead, if you'd like, go find one where he does that and we can just talk about that because it seems like so far we've only talked about him not doing that. And even though that's what the other stuff concerns you, or that's what concerns you most, we haven't gotten that yet. So I'd be down to just finding that. I'm going to go back to where we were just so we can move past that and get to something you want sooner. Because if we can get that, I think we can probably learn a lot of other things there too because you want to find the stuff before it. Not there.
This position annoys me a lot.
But it's not the one you want to talk about the most. I really want to get you the one that you want to talk about the most.
Okay, this definitely annoys me. I don't know how to deal with that.
But he's not floating for a while there.
But he is standing up there for a while.
He double jumps
Like
and he waits till the end of his double jump and then he floats for the tiniest second if he does. And then he immediately falls. Yeah, no, he didn't even float. So then he floats into you with a back air. So he doesn't stay up there any longer than your invincibility requires. Does that still feel like a long time to you?
not as long as this.
Right, that did take a little bit longer. Let's look at that again. Right, so he immediately floats. He's coming forward immediately, waits a tiny bit, but yeah, pretty much comes in pretty quickly. But that still feels like a long time to you. I'm not trying to disregard how you feel about it. I just want to make sure I understand.
Yeah, I said yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear you. Apologies. Um, so this feels like a while. Okay, so have you ever floated as Peach? You ever spent time floating? We did talk about this a while ago. Did you ever spend time doing that?
I actually have, and it does feel like a very long time, actually.
Right. That's not my. That's fair. It is 3 seconds. That's quite a while. My question isn't about that. My question actually is about what it's like to move forward and backward as Peach. Like,
Well, I suppose I am observing my opponent if they take the bait or not.
sure. Um, I find as Peach that it's quite hard to change my momentum when I'm in float, like
Oh,
forward or
yeah,
backward.
yeah,
So you can kind of assume where the Peach is going to go or end up a lot of the time by the end of their
yeah.
float. They don't.
Based on how they move.
Yeah.
Okay,
Um.
that does
So
make sense.
so Peach is facing forward here. So do you have to worry about back air?
No,
Do you have to worry about up air?
no.
Do you have to worry about down air?
Sometimes.
If Peach does down air, which direction is she gonna go?
Well, towards me.
Like directly towards you? Like
That's what he does. Yeah, he
so
does do
so
that.
this so he will like come forward like a little bit more and then go straight at you.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to talk about how to beat that?
Well, I assume the answer is like ferret,
There are other answers.
pivot rabbit,
Other answers.
uh, way dash back forward smash,
There are other answers.
up air it.
There are other answers.
What is it?
Up tilt.
Interesting. Yeah, yeah. I guess that's not wrong.
And there are other things too, like you can back air it.
Yeah. Uh, it just feels like a different timing when they because they normally use their double jump and then fall faster with their dare. I don't know that's actually really a thing, but it is a pattern
When
I
you
know.
float cancel, it makes you go down faster.
Yeah, so it feels like I have to call out their timing rather than it being a reaction.
Will up tilt help you with that?
It would.
Okay. Um, let's see. Does Polish also nair into you?
I feel like that's a strong possibility. Yeah,
A lot of the same counters apply to that, don't they?
right.
Does Polish nair early or when he's about to hit you?
Possibly.
Which one is it?
Uh, when he's about to hit me, I think.
Can you float cancel then?
No.
Worth keeping in mind.
Yeah.
And I imagine fair is the one that is most difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
So what peaches often do is they start their fair, do their float cancel, and then the move comes out and it'll stay out for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So that would suggest maybe three types of counters. Um, do you know how to beat peaches forward air from this position?
My default is to fair in place.
I think you try that, don't you? Oh, you just land. I guess you could have beaten it. You didn't drift back. Let's look at it again. So, let's see. So if Polish, do you feel like Polish often just drifts into you here?
I feel like he's like he's dangling a bait of some sort. Like, yes, I do know he does have the intent of drifting in at some point, but he
Mm-hmm.
might air dodge, he might hit me, he might just like go in at a timing that I am not covering.
Right.
That is a very frustrating part.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm glad we finally got the position you want to talk about. So you want to beat air dodge and him going in, and you want to be able to do it in a way that beats a lot of timings, right?
Yes.
Now, when you play against Puff, how do you do that?
Honestly, I really don't. I like try to just lock him out of like going above me, and then I just force him to go to a corner.
Right. So are you standing still when you're doing that?
Well, I try to take as much space as possible, and then kind of stand still from that. And
Okay.
then like if it's possible that they'll hit me, then I'll dash back or like wave dash back.
Okay. So would it be fair to say that like if you're going to be standing here like this, that the peach is almost kind of manipulating you?
Yes. Yes, it does feel like Peach has more leeway manipulating me than Puff does.
Okay.
Like, because the best Puff has is like her aerials that just loses to my aerials, like more cleanly or pound, which I feel it's easier to call out than Peach's tools.
Right. And so I would encourage you to figure out more ways to beat Peach's moves, but right now I think suggesting having a way to move around to patrol beating these things would be really good. So I like that you're on the side platform here. Do you know why?
because it simplifies the position.
Why?
So that she doesn't have like a platform to land on. This is like so then she doesn't have like a safety avenue to like just float to the top platform or just
Mm-hmm.
landing on the side platform.
Because what can you do if she tries to do that?
What?
Well, you can hit her.
Oh yeah.
And the way you have to do that, I think, is not something that's perfectly clear right now. Um, but I think the first, I mean, do you, in this position, do you want to hit Peach before she does something, or do you want to wait for her to do something and then hit her?
I would like for me to not get manipulated. Yeah.
Well,
So she should be doing something.
what should Marth be doing here?
Uh, I guess I shouldn't stand there. I should like at least like make it look like I could hit her,
Okay, and how could you do that?
like short hopping in or like short hop in place at least.
Well, you
Do
did short
like
up in place. Well, you drifted back, I guess, so not
yeah.
fully. So I guess that would have worked, right? Now, what does short up in place lose to from Peach?
If she were to just like float cancel aerial at me, maybe.
Well, if you're short hopping, can't you just fair and beat that?
Yeah, I mean, she could just keep floating there.
Well, she only has 3 seconds, but she can wait out your short hop, correct?
Yeah,
So when is an interesting time for you to short hop then?
when she is drifting down.
Yeah, so basically she's no longer floating, perhaps.
Yeah,
Because I mean, in this position, when did you jump?
I jumped right during her float.
Right. You also jump. So basically, you jumped early
Yeah,
in a way of thinking about it.
yeah,
So you feel like you'd be better off jumping when she has exited float.
yeah. That does feel a little better. Yeah,
Okay. Now, do you feel like you can beat her forward air with your forward air?
yeah.
Okay.
As long as I like slightly drift back where I'm in place.
Okay. So then the matter would just be the spacing. Because, I mean, you
Yeah,
could have forward aired right here and pretty much beaten her, right? If you
yeah,
didn't drift back.
yeah.
So, so how do you feel about the position from there? Unfortunately, we only have 2.5 minutes left, but I'm going to try and get you as much value as I can on this.
How do I? What did you say?
How do you feel about the position from there?
I guess that's one angle to beat floats. Uh, and then like if they try to go above me, then like I could swap that out if
Mm-hmm.
she's too far in.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I could try that. I guess one last question before the time is up
Mm-hmm.
is playing when I'm in the ground position below the platforms and she's like floating above the platforms. I am not sure how to play that. Because then like it feels like
When you're on the ground and she's floating above it,
yeah above the platform, and I'm not on the side platform.
and you're not on the side platform,
Yeah,
and you
it
don't have
just
time.
feels like I have to. It just feels like I have to like prioritize her ramming at me, or and then like it's secondary for her to like land on a platform.
Is
So
she
I just
top? Is
let
she
her
top platform height, or is she closer to side platform height?
closer to side platform height.
Okay. So the top platform can be a barrier between you two, right?
Yeah,
So then I mean, technically, couldn't you shark landing on either ground or platform?
what do you mean platform?
So Peach could land on platform instead of going directly into you, right?
Yeah,
And that means she's going to be in landing lag of some sort, and that is at least pressurable, if not punishable, right?
yeah. Okay, and I could do like the later fares if worst case scenario it's a pressure situation.
Right. We didn't get as much time to talk about this because I think there were a lot of positions that really confused you, and so I feel like we would probably need a little more time to sort all of this out. Like I think we would probably need another lesson to sort all this out, honestly, maybe even two. But I do feel like even if it's not going to seem like it, I think if you load into some Uncle Punch and you kind of think about what we were talking about and you have Peach fall down and you kind of see what the timing is like for actually countering it, you are going to at least evolve the mix up situation here. So even if we didn't cover everything, I think you're going to at least see a lot of things progress further in some of the neutral and in some of the weird float situations.
If you had a theme to encapsulate everything we talked about, what would you say it is? Because I'm not sure what the
Um,
theme is.
I mean, I really feel like it's timing. I really feel like the timing of your attacks was just not, or basically like when you, it's either like when you react to something or when you decide to make a decision is needs to be in line with a way that actually hits Peach. Because right now, like your decision making is such that you're letting the Peach like move around and you're not really sure why. So I think, in other words, hitting her where she actually is or where she could actually be is very important. And you're kind of swinging where she was a lot of the time, or you're playing a little too safe.
That makes sense. Yeah, that does. All right. Well,